relax at home and fall asleep.
I'll wake up by then.
Go early, like I'm saying.
Are we on?
Which one's the incumbent?
I should, but I just won't. I don't even know like they.
Held by,
I know the names.
I can't
I don't know. Looks that way.
Pardon our vast studio audience, but are we live?
Yes.
I didn't know if we were being televised yet.
Now we're live.
Okay. Well, now that we have an officer here, and it is 6:59, so we will wait until it says 7:00. I'm sure there are people in our television audience that don't want to miss a minute.
Yeah.
So, we will,
Or 15 minutes
Or
in this case.
Right.
you're a funny guy.
But not too funny.
Not too funny. That is correct.
Easy.
Yeah.
This is going good, Joe.
So, of course, the longest minute is the minute where you're looking at your phone waiting for
Crazy
it to
busy.
change. So, oh well.
We're dying.
Tasty.
It's good. It's good though.
Oh my gosh, the world's longest minute. Good evening and welcome to a regularly scheduled meeting of the City of Hartford Common Council. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask if you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call, Lori.
The mayor and all alderpersons are present except Alderperson Carroll, who is absent and excused.
Thank you. We have before us a unanimous consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Move to approve, President Heggie, second by Alderperson Webb.
Motion by Alderperson Heggie, seconded by Alderperson Webb, approving the following two items on the unanimous consent agenda: the Common Council minutes of February 14th, 2023, and authorizing appropriate city officials to accept the quote from Horizon Commercial Pool Supply for the resurfacing of the therapy pool and leisure pool at the Signacast Family Aquatic Center for an amount not to exceed $143,100.
Thank you. Boy, you'd think for the $143,100, they could have snuck in a look-see at the staircase that we're paying all that money to. Wow, anyway. No, I got a couple of smiles out of it. That's a good thing. Okay, any questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Item number 5, communications. Lori.
I just have one thing this evening. The next Mid-Moraine dinner meeting will be in Saukville on March 22nd. Anyone interested in going, if they could let us know by March 17th, and if they could call Samantha and let her know. Thank you.
By 0317, okay. Wonderful, thank you very much. At this time, we have appearances and citizen comments. Anybody wishing to make any comment, more than welcome to come up to our podium. Any city person, you get 3 glorious minutes to come up. Any comments? We have one. Please state your name and address.
Name is, you can hear me? There we go. Terrence Perfect, 635 Yosemite. I'm not here, I don't want to bring up hash up anything, old, but there's something that's been kind of twirling around in my mind, kind of sitting not good here. Months back, when I was running some debacles with the mayor, I didn't take a heed from my father, and he always tells me you can attack somebody's actions, but you don't ever attack the person themselves. And And I want to apologize to the mayor and even to some of the board members for attacking you personally instead of just the action. I do want to say you guys are doing a great job. I'm happy that the taxes didn't go up. It was good for me. I moved away and came here to get away from high taxes. So I just want to say hats off. You guys are doing a great job. And I just wanted to get that and everybody know that I truly am sorry. I don't want to attack anybody's person. I just wanted to attack the action. All right? I just want to make sure that it's clear.
Thank you very much. Anybody else wishing to come up and speak? 3 glorious minutes. Third call. Hearing none, the mayor's report. First, thank you, Mr. Perfect, for that. That was very nice of you. I think I just wanted to comment on the Iced on Main. I thought it went extraordinarily well. A lot of people out. I really did like some of them. I found out that for one of the times that I've seen it is that there weren't as many carvers. They actually had molds and they poured it in. Interestingly enough, some of those really turned out well, but the carvers did a great job too. Always make sure whenever you hear about Iced on Main that you mark it down on your calendar, because it's a lot of fun. It really is. And some of the, it was unfortunate the fact that the next day got real warm, and of course then it melted, and then it got cold again, and it's like, oh, darn it. You know, because some of them were really quite clever, and I hope that whenever you see that Iced on Main is going on, that you take some time to go around and take a look at them, and even go in and thank the proprietors of the places that actually support that. They have to pay to get somebody to come in and do it, and pay for the ice block and everything, just to make Hartford a little bit more special. A lot of cities, smaller than us, larger than us, don't have something like that, and that is a very unique and I think successful program that we put on every winter. So again, thanks to all who were participating in that. With that, we have aldermanic requests. President Hagee.
Well, first off, next week on Wednesday, the Mid-Moraine Legislative Committee will be meeting, and I'm sure the topic of discussion is going to be the referendum concerning sharing of the 0.5% county sales tax. So be interested in hearing how that goes. And then I'd like to comment on snow removal. I think the city did a fine job, but private citizens, it's the same ones over and over and over. Corner lots especially, they'll do one side, not the other, and yet you look down that sidewalk and it's all trampled full. People have been walking on it, but the property owner isn't shoveling the sidewalk. And as winter goes along, it seems to get worse and worse. People are more lackadaisical, just don't want to get at it. Take care of your sidewalks. You know who you are. That's my comment.
Thank you. Alderperson Rusniak.
Yeah, today is quite a historic day in the city of Hartford. The mayor of Hartford has turned 65, so we're wishing you a happy birthday.
Thank you very much. I get applause. Oh my God. Thank you. Alderperson Turchi.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Alderperson Garza.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Alderperson Kohler.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Alderperson Sikora.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Alderperson Fulop.
Happy birthday.
Somebody had to do
Alderperson Webb.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. At this time, we have a public hearing. This is a rezoning request for 714 Union Street from RD2 two-family residential to RS6 single-family residential. I'd like to open the hearing and call for a reading of the notice.
Please take notice that a public hearing will be held at 7 p.m. or thereafter on February 28, 2023, in the Common Council Chambers at the lower level of City Hall, 109 North Main Street, by the City of Hartford Common Council to consider the following. SFR3 LLC has requested the rezoning of the following properties: 714 Union Street, Hartford, Wisconsin, 53027. 714 Union Street, tax key number 362102013010, from RD2 two-family residential district to RS6 single-family residential district. The purpose of the public hearing is to hear those persons who wish to express their opinions for or against the requested zoning change. A copy of the proposed ordinance can be viewed at the Planning and Zoning Department, 109 North Main Street, Monday through Friday, between the hours of 7:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. This was published in the Daily News on February 10th and February 17th, and there were 21 notices sent.
Thank you very much. At this time, we have explanation of hearing by staff. I'm assuming that will be Justin Drew, our city planner.
This is a pretty minor change from two-family to single-family in a neighborhood that has a lot of both. Meets all the zoning requirements for the proposed district, and the Plan Commission recommended in favor. Staff also recommends in favor.
Thank you. At this time, we ask for appearances for anybody wishing to speak for the rezoning request at 714 Union Street. Please come forward to the podium. Anybody wishing to speak for? Third call, anybody for? Next, we go appearances against. Anybody wishing to appear against the rezoning request for 714 Union Street? Anybody against? Third call, anybody against? Hearing none, discussion by council.
I got a question.
Absolutely, Representative or Alderperson Philip.
So why does rezoning impact the value of the home? If it's an existing home and they want to remodel it and they want to sell it or do whatever they want to do, I'm trying to understand that comment that was made in here.
Yeah, that's the narrative that we asked them to provide. So I can't necessarily speak to the veracity of it, but I think the idea is as a larger single-family home rather than two smaller rentals, it has greater either rental income potential or sale potential. And it fits with what they're trying to do.
They're going from two-family to single-family, right?
Correct.
And with that, the rationale is if I change the zoning, it's going to change the value?
No, not inherently, but the redevelopment that they propose to do from two-family, like if it's approved as single-family, they intend to invest in it and rehab it in a way that they wouldn't necessarily as a two-family.
Maybe I'm not asking my question. If it's a two-family, they can't make it into a single-family? Is that
Correct.
my understanding?
Yes, correct.
Okay, that's the clarity that I didn't have. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll close the hearing and ask for action on ordinance number 1468, an ordinance amending the zoning map of part of ordinance 278.
Since it's the first hearing, we suspend the rules.
Correct.
I move to suspend the rules.
Suspend the rules by Alderperson Kohler, second by Alderperson Fulop.
Motion by Alderperson Kohler, seconded by Alderperson Fulop to suspend the rules for immediate consideration of proposed ordinance 1468.
For suspension, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Okay, then for action on 1468, Alderperson Turchi, second by Alderperson Fulop.
Motion by Alderperson Turchi, seconded by Alderperson Fulop for the adoption of proposed ordinance 1468.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried, thank you. And now we get to skip all the way down to the city administrator report. And that would be Jennifer Einwalter to present the Jack Russell Memorial Library 2022 annual report. And we have doing it in person, our librarian, Jennifer Einwalter.
Good evening.
Hello.
Okay, we'll bring this up.
Did I say anything about 3 glorious minutes? Did I?
No.
Special.
I know.
It says 78 slides.
I meant
very
to
much.
slides, right?
Oh, it's only 19, actually. And technically, the first two don't, the first and the last.
We're
don't
fine,
really
take your time.
That goes slow.
So I'm here tonight to present the 2022 annual report by the numbers for the library. I haven't done this in a number of years, and since we've come back from COVID, we have some things I want to share. I have some things I want to share about the library and what we're doing. Our library serves 25,289 people. That is our service population, of which 62% are from the city of Hartford, and the remaining 38% are from other areas, townships without libraries, such as the town of Polk, town of Hartford, town of Erin, even into the town of Rubicon and the town of Ashippun. That number is determined by a formulary through the state. They look at the number of circulations that we have from people who live outside of the city of Hartford. But that 15,805 is the number that Lori provided me with, so that's that's right on. We have 13,716 library card registered. 66% of Hartford has a library card. And the remaining 34% are from other areas, again, townships.
What's the average in that Monarch area that we're in for the library, with the libraries that are in that cluster? Is it 66? Are we high, low?
For our size, we're a grade 1 library, we're about average.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
we hover between 13,000 and 16,000 cards, depending on people, and when we purge, we do a purge once a year of inactive card holders. When I started at the library about 8 years ago, we had 23,000 card holders, and it wasn't accurate.
I wish you'd run the state voter rolls. Thank you.
Well, we do it annually now, so we're very much in tune with that.
Okay.
Last year, we had 144,000 plus people walk through our doors. In September, the library board approved using money in our fund balance to purchase new RFID gates and it has a people counter in it, and we got, so we're able to track how many people are coming in and out of the door every day. So this is based on a 3-month average, and it came out to be 144,000. We had 51,000 service questions asked, so that's when citizens call and say, hey, I'm looking for this tax form, or I'm looking for a particular resource, or I need help printing, or that sort of thing. Computer questions, anything. We had 51,000 questions last year. This is the number of items we checked out last year. We had 199,000 items physical checkouts, and when you do the digital materials, it's another 34,000 plus downloads. So all in total, it's 234,000 items were accessed last year through our library. We look at both numbers. We look at the physical and the digital. Digital is obviously becoming extremely popular. Our resources for digital, the 2 main resources Hartford has is we have access to Libby through the Libby app on your phone. You can get 10 books at a time, 10 items on hold. That's available to every resident in Wisconsin. And we have Hoopla. Hoopla's the one that I find is the most unique and the one that the public has really responded to because it's on demand. So if there is an item that you want, let's say you want to read the latest or the greatest Michael Crichton book, you likely can go into that database and download it and have it like that for 21 days. It's instant downloads, whereas Libby has a waiting list. Our number one use of our electronic resources is audiobooks. About 65% of that 34,000 is people who are downloading audiobooks to listen to. I track it every month. I watch the trends. So while we are seeing less physical checkouts of books on CD, the listeners have gone from books on CDs to their devices as cars have changed. As we no longer have CDs in our cars, we no longer have cassette players. Who remembers a cassette player in their car? I certainly do. So Hoopla, in Hartford, we give people 4 checkouts a month. Last year, between Hoopla and Libby, we spent $15,000 on electronic materials for the public. Continues to remain very popular. Hoopla also has television series, the great courses, binge passes. You can get Acorn Television in there if you're familiar with that. Comic books, if you're a comic book reader, lots of comic books in there. We've had people come in and tell us they're saving hundreds of dollars by being able to get the books through Hoopla. Okay, this is our circulation by municipality. You'll see last year we had 56.4% of our library usage came from the city of Hartford. I can drill down the 112,399 to Aldermanic District if you would like. It just wouldn't fit on my slide. I didn't want to have it all long and small. The Washington County non-residents are 55,000 circs. We get reimbursed at 100% for the cost, for what it costs us to provide service to the Washington County residents. Last year, we got around $270,000 in reimbursement. This year, we're going to be right around $300,000. We also get reimbursement for those 19,000 checkouts to Dodge County. Hartford is considered a Dodge County library, so having part of the industrial park in Dodge County does have a benefit for the library. But it's interesting in that Hartford, Watertown, and Beaver Dam provide the most service to the townships in Dodge County, likely the 3 largest communities that surround the smaller townships in Dodge County. So that's how our circulation breaks down. This is our physical items. I didn't break down the digital, a little bit more cumbersome, but this is our physical circ. As I've looked through statistics, I can tell you that the digital circulation mirrors very closely to what is up on this pie chart. Are there any questions so far? Okay.
Jennifer,
Yes, Wayne?
how many come over from Slinger? I know Slinger has a nice small library. How many, do you get a fair amount of residents from Slinger?
We have a lot of Slinger residents. Actually,
You do?
a lot of people followed me from Slinger because I used to be the director there.
Oh.
We've had a lot of families and friends and people that come from Slinger, so.
Fan base.
He does have a fan
I
base.
mean,
I'm amazed.
I was told that recently, but we do have a fair number. We have a fair number of citizens who travel between all the libraries. We have some people who work here in the community, they live in the city of West Bend, and they use our library because it's right on their way home from work. We have others who, they come and they have activities with their families, or if they're an adult and they are in one of our many community activities, maybe at the shower center or at the rec center, and they come and they hang out at the library before they go or after. So, yeah, we do get a fair number.
Super, good, thank you.
Helping citizens save money one item at a time. This is the total value of all the material checked out last year, $2.8 million. And I added the $15,000 in for the electronic material. On our receipts at the bottom, we always tell people how much they saved. We have a regular citizen, City of Hartford resident that comes in, and her receipt is like $150,000 that she saved by using our library. And she's very proud of that. When it got to 150, she came and showed me. So it may seem like a small number, but when we're in a time in our country right now where inflation is tough and people are having to make some decisions about how they're going to use their disposable income, they're coming back to the library. So I think it's an interesting number. This is our operating revenue for last year. Again, Hartford is our largest with 65% of our revenue of our tax base. Dodge County gave us $65,000 and Washington County gave us $270,000 in 2022. Those are the 3 main taxing entities or where we get the main public dollars from. The remaining, about 4% of our budget comes from other sources, fine money, faxing, photocopying. We had a federal grant last year. Last year was the first year in my 20-plus years that I've had so much grant money available and was able to write so many to do some really great programs in the community. We have an ongoing used book sale, and we did last year get quite a lot of donations. There were a lot of donations last year, and that's not a very stable place in our budget, but it did account for about 2% last year. So, any questions so far? Okay. This is an average day at the library. Last year we had 470 citizen visits. We had about 67 checkouts per hour, 650 items a day. 18 questions were asked an hour of our staff. Our computer logins were 17, and we had 79 Wi-Fi logins. Our computer logins, our physical on a laptop or a desktop computer, are trending down because of people with their own devices. You'll see that on one of my other slides, but my staff, as a staff, we're starting to think about how we're going to replace, are we going to continue to replace computers, or what are we going to invest some of that capital money into if people are coming in with their own devices? What other things can we be doing? How can we be engaging people? There is still a need for computers. Perhaps some of you have done this. You've abandoned a printer in your home because the ink is too expensive. We have a lot of citizens that come in who no longer have a printer in their home. The cost of the printer, the ink costs more than the printer. And so they come to us and they print and they're in and out and they're happy and they get what they need. We have wireless printing now, so people do it right from their devices. Any questions on these numbers?
Yeah, so the Wi-Fi login, you have a number of 79. So if I go in, I already have my phone pretty much pre-programmed. So if I walk in and it logs in automatically to do that, that counts on
Yes.
that number?
Yes,
And that's how many per day?
per day,
Okay,
yes.
all right.
Yes. And the photographs, the one in the upper right, the larger one, that's a group of kids at our Brush and Slush program that is a teen teaching teens how to paint. It's a super cool program. It's done by a local high school student. Every class is filled. She's done 9 classes now, I think, and will continue doing them. Very popular, very well received. We implemented or released board games for checkout last year. Super fun. Great, another great thing for people to come and get. We have people that check them out and they sit at the library and they play with their kids. And a happy kiddo at one of our programs last summer. She was very happy to let us take her picture. So here's that wireless number. So we had 5,100 public computer logins. Now granted, that was more than the previous year, but we had 24,000 wireless logins. So, I mean, that's pretty telling. What's going on. And that's the number that's making me rethink the physical equipment we're purchasing and what else can we do with those dollars. Last year, our staff handled over 468,000 items. That's all the items that are checked out. That's everything that comes back. That's all of the stuff that gets transited every day on the delivery, and that's all the holds that get pulled and get processed. It's quite a lot, and everybody does it with a smile. This is our program and events last year. We had 473 programs that were offered, 19,000 citizens attended. Of the 473 programs, 8,845 people came into our library and they participated, and we had 10,000 grab-and-go kits. Those have remained extremely popular in Hartford, to be able to come in and grab a kit and grab some books and some movies and go home. For our youth, we have transitioned that to a subscription service for this year. So depending on your age, you can sign up for a subscription bag and you get books curated for your interest. The Wiggle Worm Club is our littlest from 0 to 4. They get books for their interest, a treat, a small treat, a craft, and then some songs and things to read with their parents. It's a way to encourage literacy. And it's a way to kind of be a little more innovative with our grab-and-go kits. Very popular. Probably one of the best things that came out of COVID was the grab-and-go kits. The adult ones have a bit of a, I don't know what's a better word for cult. What's a better word for cult?
An undercurrent,
Following?
underground?
I don't want to say the word cult because can be a little negative, but we have just a group of really enthusiastic people who every month for the adult crafts for grown-ups, they line up. And they're waiting in the lobby for these kits to release. So it's become really popular. It's really great. These are some of our highlights from last year. We have adventure passes. If you have not heard, if you are interested, we have passes to Milwaukee-based attractions. We have 4 passes to the Milwaukee Domes. We have 2 passes to the zoo. We've got 3 passes to Betty Brinn, and then we've got 2 passes to the Milwaukee Art Museum. By far, the zoo is the most popular. It's the most cost savings as well. You can come to get that pass for 3 days. You can get in up to 8 people on the pass and free parking. So super popular. The domes were just really popular. They might have had a change, so those have been really popular. We released board games. We had some stability with our staffing. We had a large donation from our Friends of the Library, $6,000. We added staffed hours in the history room, so there's a staff member now in the history room 2 days a week. We're trying to bring greater accessibility to that space. We have a very good partnership with our HUHS robotics team. They came in last summer and ran some mini camps, a coding mini camp, and I think there were 2 coding mini camps. Now they run our Lego program once a month. So the kids are getting to teach kids, and it's all STEM activities. And so they brought their mascot, Ozzy, last summer for us. And he was great fun. Marion the Raspberry made her debut. She is a special flavor from Scoop DeVille, only available seasonally, and very delicious. And we launched a new literacy program for elementary school kids, ages kindergarten through 5th grade, 500 books before middle school. One of our early literacy programs is called 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten. This is a follow-up to that to keep kids reading. There is a saying, or there is a studies show that kids who have who are read to in those very early years of ages 0 to 4 have more success in school and are better readers and learners. So this is to follow that up, and we have probably 75 kids participating. So a kid today came and told me how many minutes he read, and he was just so ecstatic about that. This is our operating expenditures for last year. You can see how we're spending our tax levy and our donations. The majority of our expenditures are salary, benefits, and for our staff. We spent about 11% of our budget on material, and you can see it's broken down by physical. Audiovisual is DVDs, Blu-rays, video games. We have video games for every platform. So we have a lot of Switch players, a lot of PlayStation players. We try to keep those. Last year we spent $6,000 on those adventure passes. Building and repairs, about 3%. We still have debt retirement. Lots of expenses, but this is how we spent it last year. Any questions?
Yeah, just on the history room, you have the 5250. What does that entail as far as specifically for the history room? Is that all the work that they do plus whatever supplies they do? What constitutes that?
That 5250 was for 8 hours a week for the volunteer coordinator to work.
Okay.
It's for 8 hours a week. That's what that pays. The whole budget for that line item is $6,500. Typically, there's more supplies. Some of their other supplies come directly through the library, so there's some cost savings for
I just
them.
thought that was a reasonable number for the history room because I get a lot of positive feedback specifically for the history room in this, for the city of Hartford. A lot of people very, very impressed when they go in there and talk about, the service they receive has always been very upbeat. So.
This is tax support to operate per day. So I take the 3 numbers of tax support, we break it down, and you can see it's the total tax levies from the 3 taxing groups divided by the service population, and that's the per capita $41.27. And then we take the $41.27 and we divide it by the number of days we were open last year, which was 303. It's 14 cents a day to operate the library. We hover between 12 and 15 depending on the year in our expenditures.
And that's per person in the so that's times the 25,000. Okay, just to make that. Okay.
Yeah, and this for the city of Hartford, it's 13,000, or it's 13 cents. I ran that number this morning. It's 13 cents. So when you add in the extra people, it goes up a penny. But for the city, yes.
I may have been, I'm not sure if I read the slides correctly, but the number here is $1,043,000 and your expenditures were $1,084,000. So is that you're in the red?
Yes, we are. Last year, we had a $36,000 a deficit for interest on investments. So we didn't know that was coming. Our fund balance gets invested with other City of Hartford investments, so we had a $36,000 loss.
Maybe just like a related question. If you had more money in your budget or got more donations, what would be sort of like some of the things that you would like to do at the library or like your biggest needs? That would be helpful for us to know, or at least.
Yeah, that's a great question. I appreciate you asking. I think right now, the biggest need that I see is I want a full-time staff member in the history room because I want the history room to be more accessible to people. What's in there is incredible, and giving people access to it is a way to honor the thousands of hours that have been put into that room. That room is going to be 50 years old in 2026. I want to see some of those pieces in the collection, what we have available digitized, so that it's more accessible to people. Other needs, I would say we need more money for the digital side of things. If I have to watch the Hoopla money, I budget about $850 to $900 a month. Hoopla allows you to set the number of checkouts. So in the month of January this year, we hit over $1,000. So I had to reduce the number of checkouts to 4 so that I knew I had enough money in my $10,000. I would say marketing. I'd say that would be another area. And we do a great job with the cheap and the free, but those would be the biggest things.
Okay.
Right now, I mean. Any other questions?
Jennifer, you had an operating deficit last year, but yet you still managed to pay $25,000 off for debt retirement, correct?
Right.
Okay, so that offsets it a little bit, makes it look a little better.
Right, and we have a fund balance. Once the city appropriates the money during the budget process to the library, it remains under the library board's authority. So we do have a fund balance to cover that. So we aren't coming to the city and saying, hey, you have to cover this. We're not going to any of the funders to do that. Certainly when investments and inflation hit and things took a dive, there was no way you could know that. So yeah, we did.
Steve, when do we project the new library to be paid off? Have you looked at that down the line?
2027.
2027?
Yeah, that's our last debt
That's not
retirement
bad.
payment.
That's not bad at all.
Nope.
I'm throwing my voice.
Oh, my God. All right.
Nice presentation.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, I got more.
Oh,
I got a few more.
Oh, this wasn't in between or, oh, okay.
I got more. I got a few more. And this one,
Don't go home yet.
whenever I do this one, when I was making this, I was thinking of the mayor. And I was thinking of you because of how I know when the library was open, volunteering was a big thing for you when you were before you were mayor. So our volunteers are huge to us. They saved us $37,000 last year, giving us an average of 39 hours a week. We have a really robust and active program. This number does not include the people that are in the history room. And that'll be something that we're going to start tracking this year.
Okay.
So this number will go up. How we figure this, we look at a part-time staff member working 29 hours a week. We multiply their total compensation, and that's how we determine this, how I got this number.
Thank you.
Meeting room space, wildly popular. For every 1.4 hour that we're open, a room is in use. So if you want to come, work, do whatever you got to do, come by us. And this is in the news last year. We were on the front page 3 times above the fold. I'm incredibly proud of that because I didn't have to beg for it. I didn't have to do anything. They showed up. And so I'm really appreciative of the press for that here in Washington County. And these are some of our highlights from last year. This is the highlight of our year for our staff, and I want to share it because we have a really great group of people that work at the library. 60% of them participated with their families in the Christmas parade. About 60% showed up at the employee appreciation dinner as well. So we have a really engaged group who are customer service focused. This is what's next. We're currently in the middle of getting our final piece of equipment. We're upgrading our materials handler and drive-through. So now when people come to the drive-through on the weekend, on a Sunday when we're closed, and they put their material in, it will get checked in when it gets dropped into the bucket. So there won't be any waiting till Monday morning. It will get checked in right away. We're going to update our strategic plan this year. We launched some new online classes. Our CIP project for this year with our building and grounds is to replace the cork flooring in the library. It's not holding up as well. So Brian Worth will be working through that with us, and we've budgeted for that from our fund balance for this year. Thank you. I appreciate it. Any
No,
other
that was a very nice
questions?
presentation.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for what you do and for everybody at the
thanks.
library, what they do.
Yeah.
Is it online? Will it be on the city website, this PowerPoint?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, Jack, I can send a copy, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You bet. You don't have to wait a year to come back either. You don't have to wait a year to come back.
No, but I don't want to always come back just when it's like I need an approval or something.
I understand.
That's no fun.
Item B, discussion and consideration of a contingent appointment of the new city clerk per the recommendation of the hiring committee. In mid-January, City Clerk Lori Hetzel had announced in writing of her intentions to retire from her work with the city after 45 years.
Just getting started, Lori.
I know. You're barely here. We set up an interview panel, and that included election staff, Dennis behind us, along with the head of the Personnel and Finance Committee, Alderman Rusniak, and 3 staff members that work closely with the clerk's position, including our city clerk. We had 12 applications for the position. Of those 12, 4 were selected to receive an interview based on varied levels of experience. We held those interviews last week, and the committee recommended a contingent offer being offered to Shanna Kralkamp of Rubicon. And she was offered the position on Thursday, and she signed and accepted on Friday and sent it in to us yesterday. And so we are very excited to make the recommendation to the City Council tonight for the contingent approval of appointing Shanna Kralkamp as the next city clerk for 45 more years. That's the recommendation of the staff.
Super. So you're looking for me then to get?
That would be to you.
That's
Yeah.
my cue. Okay, thank you. Well, we would look to look for the appointment, to approve the appointment of the new city clerk per the recommendation of the hiring committee. President Hagee, second by Alderperson Garza.
Motion by Alderperson Hagee, seconded by Alderperson Garza, approving the contingent appointment of the new city clerk per the recommendation of the hiring committee.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Does she have?
I would now like to introduce your next city clerk, Shanna Kralkamp.
Come on up. You get 3 glorious minutes.
So yeah, I wanted to thank everyone. As they said, I'm from Rubicon. I have spent essentially my entire adult career here within the city of Hartford. Most recently, I worked at Matisse and Wickert and Lair for 17 years. So I'm very excited to make this transition over into the city clerk role here. I know I have big shoes to fill. I wanted to thank everyone for allowing me this opportunity, and I'm extremely excited, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Super. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
Yes, please, go ahead, Alderperson
I
Rusniak.
want you guys to know we saved an awful lot of money. I thought it would take, we'd have to hire 3 people to replace Lori. We only have to hire 1. So we saved everybody a lot of money.
Okay, at this time, we're looking to go into closed session. Lori?
The Common Council to move into closed session under State Statutes 9.85, Sub 1, Sub E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require closed session. Regarding update on Next Generation Housing Project, the Common Council to reconvene in open session for adjournment only.
Roll call vote.
To go into closed session.
Get to go into closed session. President Hagee, second by Alderperson Sikora.
Motion by Alderperson Hagee, seconded by Alderperson Sikora to go into closed session at 7:41. Hagee.
Aye.
Turchi.
Aye.
Sikora.
Aye.
Rusniak.
Aye.
Kohler.
Aye.
Garza.
Aye.
Fulop.
Aye.
Webb.
Aye.
Motion carried 8-0.
Thank you very much. We'll take a 1-minute break.